This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
Just ahead on Carolina Impact, it's more important than ever to be counted. Yes, the census has begun, and you can do it all online this year. Plus, how do students study the U.S. Constitution these days and make it relevant? We'll visit Marvin Ridge High School to find out. And this was an Eagle Scout project that took 2 years. You'll meet the Boy Scout who did it. Carolina Impact starts right now.
Carolina Impact, covering the issues, people, and places that impact you. This is Carolina Impact.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. During these uncertain times, we rely on the government for information as well as resources. A big part of what and how much a community receives relies on the census. Every 10 years, our nation takes a head count, and this is the first time it's been done all online. Carolina Impact's Todd Wallace explains.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Once every 4 years, the greatest athletes in the world compete in the Olympics. About every 75 years, Halley's Comet flies by Earth. And besides we the people,
the U.S. Constitution says that every 10 years, every person in the United States of America must be counted.
Just like a teacher takes attendance, Mecklenburg County Manager Dina DiOrio says the census is the government's way of also taking attendance of every person living in the United States.
And we are really getting geared up now that we're in March to really push this out in a big way, and we're just going to work really hard and try to make everybody aware of why it's important and why people should fill it out.
Most households received invitations to complete the census in mid-March, and for the first time, it can be done online. DiOrio says households can also participate by phone or by mail. In May, census enumerators will visit those addresses that have not completed the form. So why should people even complete the census? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at 3 letters: F, P, and R. But we're going to start with F, and that stands for funding. In 1 year, North Carolina received almost $24 billion in federal spending programs guided by the census. That is $2,000 per resident per year. Even educating our children is dependent on the census. In 1 year, North Carolina received more than $2.3 billion for programs for students in pre-K through college. All right, let's take a look at P. That's for planning. Our healthcare system uses data from the census to determine where to build things like urgent care centers. Schools and grocery stores also use data from the census to determine where they'll locate. And even our bus system used data from the census to redesign its bus route to make transportation more accessible to where people live. And finally, the letter R. That stands for representation. The number of seats we have in the House of Representatives is also based on the census. Right now we have 13 seats, but we could gain additional seats if this 2020 census count is complete. To make sure the count is as complete as possible, Mecklenburg County has been holding census speaker boot camps to educate volunteers like Brent Jones.
One of the things that I like to do is be a resource for other churches and faith communities in the area.
Jones works for Stonebridge Church Community as a director of service and outreach. The meeting taught him that the census is critical, especially for communities in desperate need of federal financial assistance.
I heard in the presentation today that businesses also determine where to locate based on accurate census data. And so food deserts are a big concern in the areas that we work.
Food deserts are areas that don't have access to fresh food and instead may depend on unhealthy food from a corner store. These areas often also need funding for education and even transportation. When residents complete the census, they're helping the community get money for those services and necessities.
We want to make sure everybody's counted so that everything that we are supposed to be allotted is received.
Raymond Hunt says you can count on him to spread the word about the importance of the census in his community.
So I want to represent, this community as best as possible. It's low income.
Pastor Hunt leads Moore's Sanctuary AME Zion Church in West Charlotte. The church is historic and has been a pillar of the area for 150 years.
So it's important that this church stay involved with the pulse of the city. And if we're going to do that, we have to be counted.
Pastor Hunt says the greatest obstacle he sees to people not willing to be counted is fear and mistrust of the government.
I can do whatever I can to relieve the fears of those individuals who think they are going to give up something, and let them know that what you have to give up is your presence.
DiOrio believes fear should not be a factor. She says the questionnaire is easy and only asks a few questions, including your name, age, ethnicity, and the number of people who live in your house. And just as important as what it does ask is what it doesn't.
They'll never ask for your social security number or any kind of personal identifying information, so people shouldn't be worried about having to disclose that.
And information cannot be shared for 72 years, until 2092. DiOrio says as Mecklenburg County Manager, filling out her questionnaire is a professional obligation and a personal one too.
I want to make sure as a taxpayer myself that all the federal dollars that we're entitled to in this community come to this community.
The message, everyone should be counted because everyone counts. For Carolina Impact, I'm Todd Wallace reporting.
Thanks so much, Todd. You've probably gotten mail or an email about the census, but if you'd like the link, head to our website at pbscharlotte.org for all the details. We've all studied the U.S. Constitution, but how well do you know it? And does it apply to your life every day? An upcoming PBS series called A More or Less Perfect Union explores that question. We wanted to see what that looked like, so we headed to an AP course at Marvin Ridge High School in Union County. Keep in mind, we were at the school before the coronavirus caused the schools to close. Carolina Impact's Suzette Ree has details.
How we doing? Here we go.
It's a typical and timeless start of class. Students coming in, the teacher greeting them.
Michael, Holden, Ravi, how you doing?
But here in this AP US History class, also called APUSH at Marvin Ridge High School, the study of the US Constitution isn't dry and just from a book.
For you.
In fact, handouts here take on a whole new meaning.
History's more than dates, names, facts, figures. The Constitution's more than just a bunch of words written down on some paper. It's part of our everyday lives. Find the First Amendment, take your marker and circle it.
Mr. Jones says he wants to make sure he creates the safe space for what can be heated debates.
First Amendment gives us that right to have free speech and free expression and petition the government. And it's okay to disagree on what that means, but we have to have that discussion. The civil discourse is something that we really have to teach kids to work with.
And it's clear the Constitution is very real here, and the students are engaged, even eager to learn.
Just the idea of further understanding the founding document that provides us the things that we enjoy today, the life, the liberty, the pursuit of happiness, that is truly what I find that's amazing about that document, and just studying more and more, getting deeper and deeper in the understanding of it.
I feel like passion kind of comes from understanding, and we really work to understand what we're working with in class. We work to understand all of the details and the purpose behind everything that's written down in the Constitution.
Answer this question. What if it's not your rights that are being restricted? What do you do?
And if you think the era of smartphones and social media makes kids even less interested in this topic, Jones says it's the opposite.
Social media, Twitter, everything has really given people a platform, and we've got to teach them how to use this platform to do good and to understand it's okay to have differing perspectives, and we could respect these differing perspectives because that's one of the beauties of the American system of government. Alexa.
We said that discrimination in a way is kind of all connected.
It's clear these students should not be underestimated in their passion or knowledge about their civil liberties.
I do stupid things and sit around on my phone sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, I'm not super passionate about this one issue or just overall issues and I'm not aware. And I think all of us are very careful or at least passionate about understanding our rights and our own privilege.
And you get the sense that each student here has clearly thought about the Constitution and what it means to them.
Even with the 19th Amendment, not all states didn't allow women to vote. It just allowed all of them nationally to vote. So some women had the right to vote. But I think that one's really important because it's frustrating when people don't exercise that right, because I think if we fought so hard to get women's suffrage, we should all exercise it.
how like people can be oppressed and systematic oppression, and how it can just lead to like detriment of societies and groups.
The lessons of our founding papers are all around the classroom. The flag, the documents, emphasizing we the people.
What's happening in this cartoon?
Mr. Jones even adds humor into the space. Can you name these presidents? But humor aside, how history impacts us all. That's the lesson here, and it hits home.
They're not as surprised to learn that these things have happened in our country. What surprises them is that it wasn't that long ago. You share a voting booth with somebody who was alive at that point in time. And so that helps them see how real it is and how recent it is. And that's probably one of the bigger takeaways for them.
He really makes the lessons engaging. He balances the work to where you're doing relevant work, reading multiple perspectives.
We use these rights every single day, and we recognize that without the Constitution, we would not have the lives that we have.
Is really an amazing part of not only my life, but I hope to be many other Americans' lives, and they understand how just how vital a document truly is in their American citizenship experience.
Hysteria was also used to kind of suffocate liberties. It's like,
you know, there's a lot people say about young people, but today in this classroom of teenagers, what we saw was indeed a more or less a perfect union. A lot of parents, educators, even the founding fathers would be proud. For Carolina Impact, I'm Suzette Ree reporting.
Thanks so much, Suzette. And thank you to Mr. Jones' class. Those are some smart cookies in there. Well, A More or Less Perfect Union airs here on PBS Charlotte, May 1st, 8th, and 15th at 9 p.m. There was a time when North Carolina was known for its gold. In fact, gold mining defined our state for years. Did you know prospectors still come to our region looking for it? It's certainly not the rush of yesteryear, but for many, the experience is a treasure. Carolina Impact's Jason Terzis shows us how it's done.
Mix a bit of dirt with a bit of water in a pan, and one might think you're making mud pie, but it's a bit more scientific than that.
And this just gets all the bigger stuff out, and there was a 1/4-inch screen, so anything smaller than a quarter goes down in the pan.
Meet recreational gold prospector Randy Kimbrell, and he's on the hunt.
So gold's heavy and it'll settle right to the bottom of that pan. Then I'll just float the light stuff off.
Kimbrell lives in Gaffney, South Carolina, but makes the trip to the Thermal City Gold and Gem Mine near Rutherfordton every chance he gets.
It's worth thousands and thousands of dollars worth of therapy. I can come up here and I leave all my problems at home when I'm in this little 100-acre place. That's why I call it my little piece of heaven.
A little piece of heaven for a man that might just have gold fever.
And I came up here and they taught me how to pan. Found 3 flakes that first day. Been hooked ever since.
And pan after pan, something keeps him motivated.
What keeps me doing it? Anticipation. I've come up here and I found 15 flakes in 1 pan.
There's been gold mining at Thermal City since the 1830s. Today the mine is owned and operated by the Langford family. They offer a place to camp and mine to those suffering with gold fever. A place to scratch the itch and possibly find a bit of the coveted yellow stuff.
It's the thrill of the hunt. I mean, you go out, you have your pan, your shovel, you don't know if you're gonna find it.
And co-owner James Langford might also have a bit of gold fever.
When someone offers you a chance to run a gold mine, you take it.
Today, recreational prospectors can start with basic panning, move up to the high bankers, large trommels, and even go for a swim in the creek in order to do some dredging. He says they're happy to teach you anything you need to know.
You always thought about prospecting for gold, don't know where to start, we'll teach you everything from the ground up. And that's the best part, is we are willing to help anyone from any walk of life trying to learn or experience, because we hate seeing anyone have a bad day or a rough day out there. And any trick or tip we can give, we'll give it.
Clinton Carr brings his family up from Moncks Corner, South Carolina, and on this day, his daughter Adeline is giving him a hand.
Oh, I love it. I get to spend time with my kids. She loves being outdoors. We both love being outdoors, so it makes my day. That's why we drive 4.5, 5 hours to come up here. And right now we're doing the high banking. Basically, we bring dirt up to it. This is out of river mining. So you bring the dirt up to it and you pump water to it and you can just shovel into it. We also do the dredging and everything like that, but this is great for the kids to be able to have fun and dig in the dirt.
The shiny gold might be the draw, but Carr adds there's something else about Thermal City.
I like the people, man. I've always liked the people. We can bring our kids up here. She's 6, my little boy's 2. We can let them run around. It's like a family up here.
And for the Langfords, Thermal City is all about family. Several years ago, Ohio natives Jeff Langford and his wife Eileen purchased the mine and campground with a dream to own a gold mine. In 2018, Jeff Langford passed away unexpectedly, but his wife and family keep it going. Son James says while his father is surely missed, at Thermal City, there's something bigger than gold.
There's just a lot of good souls here, and if it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have made it as far as we did after losing my father last year. And a lot of people stepped up and helped us out, and now we're all just one big family. And
as for the gold, that will always be a motivating factor.
Man, the gold's out there. Anybody can find it. Come give it a try. Thermal City makes it real easy.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Terzis reporting.
Thanks so much, Jason. That story is part of a new trail of history. If you miss it on the air, you can watch it online at pbscharlotte.org. Many of us have enjoyed Carowinds Amusement Park over the years. Have you ever thought about the work it takes behind the scenes to get it ready for a new season? We certainly were surprised. While the season opening had been delayed due to the coronavirus, Carolina Impact producer Russ Hunsinger got this private look before everything got put on hold.
These midways are very quiet right now, but there'll be thousands of people coming through here come opening day, and we're doing everything we can to make that a wonderful experience. I think people would be very surprised to see how busy it is here at Carowinds in the off-season. They think that we shut the doors and go home until they come back, but nothing could be further from the truth. It's like a busy beehive in here. We've got to make sure that everything is ready for our guests.
We have more than 60 rides and attractions, and we have 14 coasters that we maintain. Most people have no idea at the level of disassembly and inspections that we do. All coasters are removed from their tracks every year. They're disassembled. We have very specific manufacturer requirements for overhaul and rebuild. The rides need that level of care just for performance reasons.
Oh yeah, we get that question all the time. It's like, hey, what do y'all do in the off season? You just sit around twiddling your thumbs? No, that's actually our busy season for maintenance. Carowinds is about 400 acres if you include the water park, the hard park, and the campground and the hotel. So I've got about 400 acres here that I'm responsible for maintaining. There's a whole lot going on right here. Yeah, we're doing construction over here. We've got trucks moving in the park, a lot of people working all over the place. When the park closes, that's when we try to do a lot of our construction, putting new product in for the next year or getting ready for another event that's happening soon. We try to do something new every year.
So all the beautiful plants and flowers and trees that you see at Carowinds, it takes a lot of work to make that happen, and that starts way before we open the park for the season. Landscaping is really important to us here. We want to build a beautiful environment for people to enjoy Carowinds, and we are really doing landscaping work throughout the year, but it's never more important or heavy duty for us than it is in the off season.
We're in the greenhouses of Carowinds. In this particular one, we have about 1,000 square feet under plastic. We have another greenhouse right next door. We produce probably around 80,000 plants come through both greenhouses. They come through here and then eventually make their way into the park. And we do hundreds of hanging baskets and containers of various sizes, about 130 flower beds throughout the park.
We've been spending a few months getting plants going, and we'll continue to do that. It's been very busy getting plants into the ground. That's something that's been a focus for years here at Carowinds, and every year you come, you're going to notice that there's more and more plantings, more beautiful landscaping. That's just part of our vision for the park.
What do I love about my job? Wow. There's always something new going on. There's something different. It's not the same thing day in and day out. And when the park's operating, to see all those smiling faces on the kids, the adults, the families, that's probably the thing I like the most, is the impact that I have on their lives. We keep them safe and they have fun. It's awesome. It really is.
Thanks so much, Russ. Carowinds has 14 roller coasters. I used to love riding them all when I was younger, but these days I'm a little sensitive to those roller coasters. Well, if you're familiar with Boy Scouts, you've probably heard about Eagle Scouts. The Eagle rank is the highest honor a Boy Scout can achieve, and they have to do a community service project to get it. Each year, there are some 250 projects in Mecklenburg County alone. Carolina Impact's Jason Terzis shows us one that took 2 years to build.
The Eagle has landed. Whether you watched it live on television or learned about it in school, the images are etched into American history.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Astronaut Neil Armstrong announcing the successful mission of the Apollo 11 lunar module named Eagle, landing on the moon in 1969. Only fitting, the Eagle was commanded by a former Eagle Scout, an honor achieved by only about 5% of all Boy Scouts.
Just obtaining Eagle was always the #1 goal for me, just because of the small percentage of Scouts that attain it.
There's 21 merit badges that have to be earned to be an Eagle Scout. Some of those are required merit badges like swimming, first aid, citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world.
Local businessman Pat Riley earned his Eagle Scout rank in 1963.
I think it's taught me the basic roots of leadership and bringing people together. And that has been through my life, whether I was captain of a football team or president of a class or now chairing nonprofits or running an organization as large as the Allen Tate Company.
Each year, Mecklenburg County produces roughly 250 Eagle Scouts. In addition to earning their badges, prospects are required to do an Eagle Scout project, coming up with an idea, submitting a business plan, figuring out how to raise money, and ultimately how to complete the project.
Well, I just identified a problem that youth was having in our community and society, and I wondered what I could do to fix that problem and to bring the resources together to get questions answered. I saw a gap between the community and law enforcement, and I found out how I could bridge that gap.
Naeem Rush Janke organized a youth citizenship symposium, bringing together city council members, police officers, attorneys, and students for a panel-style lecture and conversation.
I enjoyed the fact that I was able to take resources that I had and bring them to youth that had questions and had issues that they wanted to discuss. It was the most satisfying thing I could ever do.
David Vick joined the Cub Scouts in 2nd grade, quickly learning the values of service and leadership, completing projects like building a wooden race car from scratch.
And then when I got to Boy Scouts, I found, oh, you get ranks and you get to rank up. And the highest one is Eagle Scout. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna become that.
David also had an interest in following in his mother's footsteps. Kristen Vick became a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer in the early 90s.
He was really interested in the police department because I was there. My kids would come down, they'd see the officers, talk to them. Always fascinated with police work, and most kids are.
I joined the CMPD High School Academy program. I remember we did pull-ups on the old pull-up set that they have out there, and it was falling apart, it was a little rusty, my mom told me it was out there when she did training.
That gave David the idea for his Eagle Scout project, build a new set of pull-up bars for the Police Training Academy.
He started with a GoFundMe because he needed to raise some funds.
Every day in the summer, almost every day, we'd wake up, I'd get a bunch of volunteers, we'd go out, knock it out for like 5 or 6 hours.
And you're talking 30 volunteers getting involved with it, 3,300 volunteer hours over a period of 2 years to complete this project.
We ran into obstacles. The weather was crazy. Everything was just wet, everything was flooded. We had holes that were dug 3 feet deep and they were just full of water.
We were digging the holes and the next thing you know, we hit concrete. We don't know what to do, so we have to go rent a jackhammer. We almost came to the point where we were gonna move the entire project to another location.
Overcoming those obstacles, along with all the hard work, finally paid off when the bars opened to the Academy in January of last year.
And then he ran with it and blew my expectations out of the water. So thank you, David Vick, for your vision on getting this up and running.
The best learning lesson was having the problems along the way. He understands now when you go into business, when you're doing things, nothing is going to run smooth and you're going to end up with problems, and it's how you handle those problems, what kind of outcome you get, and how you deal with it to get the ultimate project.
And when I finished it, I felt wow, I really made an impact on our community.
So now, as police trainees go through their early mornings of jumping jacks, running, planks, and pull-ups, they can thank David for their new piece of equipment.
Yeah, Chief! Give me a couple pull-ups.
It's a very proud moment when you can look back on a year and you can see over 250 Eagle Scouts deliver their projects in the community.
So they're leading, they're raising money, they're giving the community something back that they need. Put that all together, that's the same skill set that they take when they work later on in the community.
Since the Eagle Scouts began nearly 110 years ago, it's been an exclusive male-only club, but that's soon about to change.
Of our 500 scouts, girls that have joined scouting here recently, there's probably 150 or so that are working towards their Eagle on that journey. So we're going to celebrate the whole girls' class of Eagle Scouts at one time. So we won't just have the very first girl to earn it, but we're going to have a whole class and we're going to celebrate.
And as for David, he plans on starting college this fall, majoring in criminal justice. The ultimate goal to become a CMPD officer, which means he'll one day train on the very same bars he created.
That is the goal, yes.
Oh, he's going to get on the bars. So, yeah. And I don't think people are going to like him that much for that.
The Eagle Scouts, providing service to the community, giving help where it's most needed, while learning some important life lessons along the way. For Caroline Impact, I'm Jason Terzis reporting.
Thanks, Jason. Scouts have to submit a business plan, raise the money for the supplies, and gather a community to do the work to earn their Eagle rank. Their projects are all over the county, from park benches to outdoor classrooms to improving churches. Well, that's all we have time for this evening. We always appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you back here again next time on Carolina Impact. Good night, my friends.
A production of PBS Charlotte.